All right, good morning, everybody. Sorry about the little bit of a delay there. I was just trying to get one thing done. As usual, just kind of want to give everybody a quick update as to where we are this week on the downtown project. Last week, anybody who is over on Ashland will know this, but we did the main line paving last Friday on the middle block there of Ashland. If you've noticed, there's a gap that is missing in the middle. That was intentional. Everybody else who is also over on Ashland knows that there's a gas line there that has been hit a couple times, and the contractor is just waiting for Mid-American Energy's subcontractor to come down and lower that line before we put pavement on top of it. But we were still at least able to get most of that main line in so they can start doing the curb work and everything around there, and then just fill in that last piece once that line is lowered, which I believe they are anticipating that Friday is the date that Mid-American subcontractor is going to come in. At least that was the goal. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet or not, but just be patient on that. But the good thing is there's more than enough work to be done while we wait for that. So it's no huge rush at this exact moment. All of the colored crosswalks were finished at the intersection of Ashland and Howard. The sidewalks on that first block of Ashland between Howard and First, 75% of those were completed last week. They were able to get all of the south side done in one run and half of the north side done in that other run. So that was really good. And they were able to get a lot of that done. And then they, of course, did the fill strips around there, any of the bands that were needed. And then lastly, they continued on the water main and storm sewer work on Ashland on that last block between B and Buxton, and that was completed on Monday. So this week on that block of Ashland, they're doing a lot of the curb line paving around there to kind of get that road profile completely in so it's ready for the installation of the pavers. They did common panels, so those are the handicap common panels at the intersection of Howard and Ashland, so they can tie all the sidewalks into those. And then that last band of sidewalk on Ashland between Howard and First was removed, poured yesterday, and they're going to finish around the corner, I believe, today. And then for the most part, I think this week are going to be able to finish up on all of the sidewalk construction on that first block, including the fill strips, all the concrete bands, and all of that stuff in anticipation and getting that intersection opened and that street open here in a couple of weeks. So that is the goal. There's going to be some brick paver repairs that are going to be done in other areas of the square that have already been completed. This really shouldn't have much of an effect on traffic. It just may take out a few parking spots here and there while they're working in those areas. And this will be on the phase from last year, as well as the kind of the first phase that was done this year. And just those are broken pavers, some gaps in pavers that we needed fixed, things like that. But for the most part, I think that's going to be something that most everybody, it's really not going to affect you too much. And then lastly, this week, we're going to start the subgrade preparation work on the last block of Ashland between B Street and Buxton, and then get the rock chambers and subdrain in that block as well. And then also this week, as part of IMU's undergrounding project, there's a few crossings they need to make in our roads, and IMU was out on Monday finishing one of those crossings to get that all wrapped up. So they're able to start that project at some point in the future. Then looking forward to next week, we're going to continue just wrapping up all the sidewalk construction in that first phase of Ashland. They will start putting back the intersection at B and Ashland. There was just a minor water main tie-in that needed to happen down there, but there's just a few panels that need to be replaced so we can get that intersection back open, and they'll be working on that. And then next Monday, I believe they're supposed to start putting in street lights on Ashland between Howard and First. And our goal on getting that block open, I think everybody's aware of the RVTV event coming up on September 9th, but that's been one event that we've kind of pinpointed that we'd like to have that block open before that. So we're looking at about 2 weeks from today, most likely on having the intersection of Howard and Ashland, and then that first block between Howard and First all open back up. But there is various things that need to be done on that. We need to get street striping done on that. I mentioned the street lights and just kind of going through and doing any of the last remaining punch list items on that. And then in the future, you know, they're chugging ahead on all the roads. Obviously, we've got one block left to get the main line and curb lines all finished in, and that's going to be coming hopefully sometime in the next couple weeks as we kind of do a little bit of work on that first middle block. They'll be able to move towards that. And then I think we're not too far away from flipping over and starting to do sidewalk construction. I would anticipate that probably starts in, you know, sometime after the first full week of September, that we'll start doing some sidewalk construction on that first middle block there of Ashland between Howard and Buxton, and getting that moving and getting that main sidewalk line put in, and then kind of start doing some of the areas in between the sidewalk and the curb. And in talking to the contractor as well, I think that, you know, there's going to be times where they're doing some construction that middle block on the sidewalk, and they may move to that last block just to make sure that they're constantly having work to do. So you might see them jumping around a little bit, but it's still our intention to get that first block of Ashland, that middle block between Buxton and Howard, done before that block between Buxton and B Street. Other things that I think you'll start seeing going up here, we're starting to get into some good fall seating windows. So getting grass seating areas established, especially around the Justice Center, and then some trees and some plantings going in on the phases that were done earlier this year, and getting that all wrapped up. Other than that, just some signage that still needs to go up in some of our blocks as well. Some stripings there of Ashland. That's all going to be done once the roads get before they get open, and then getting all the street lights in as well. So they're moving ahead pretty good. We had a realization last week, I think it was, that with our construction project last year, we didn't even get the first block paved on Salem over there. The first date we paved was on September 2nd. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. It kind of gives some perspective on the fact that we're a little bit further ahead this year than we were last year. And we're still shooting on having everything wrapped up, hopefully, you know, by late October, early November on this current phase. So as long as the weather holds true, and so far it has, thank God, and we should be able to continue to work towards that goal and get that open by then. So with that, if there's any questions from anybody, be happy to answer them. Charlie, I saw your thing about the damage on the window. I did talk to them yesterday. They're going through just some pre-construction photos just to make sure that there was not anything there before the construction started. They're doing their due diligence on that, but as long as there was nothing there beforehand, they fully intend to take care of that for you. So they're just doing their due diligence right now, and once they do all of that, they'll come talk to you. But any other questions, be happy to answer them.
You can also use chat, everyone, if that's easier for you. If you want to drop your question or comment in the chat, you can certainly do that.
And if there's no questions, that's great too. But as usual, you know how to reach out to everybody if you do have any questions between now and next week. But hopefully next week we'll have a little bit more of a finite answer on kind of when that first block of Ashland and the intersection of Howard and Ashland is going to be open. I think that's going to be key, kind of moving this project forward, and probably be easier on some of the connectivity that we have from north to south currently on the square, some of those issues that we have. So should be able to kind of move on those here pretty fast in the next couple of weeks. But appreciate everybody joining us today. And like I said, any questions, feel free to reach out at any time.
Thank you, Charlie.